In the world of fantasy RPGs, soul-like games are a popular subgenre. Elden Ring, being released in early 2022, introduced a world of corrupt demigods, helpful merchants, and a land deeply affected by the shattering of the titular Elden Ring. From friendly sentient jars to a turtle pope, to a terrifying serpent-like demigod, to the god of the game, Elden Ring has no shortage of diverse characters. But who is worthy of reclaiming the pieces of the ring and claiming the title Elden Lord, and who is truly a monster? Join us as we look at the characters who inhabit the lands between. I'm Kyle with wickedbinge, and this is Elden Ring Characters Good to Evil. As usual, we'll be starting with the most noble and heroic character, and working our way down to the most evil. These characters are the good. The gold medal of good goes to Muriel, Pastor of Vows, a real turtle of the people. This holy reptile is kind to a fault. He is accepting of everyone, even if they share different beliefs to his own. Despite the shattering of the Elden Ring, he is helpful to anyone who approaches him. To add to his gold medal ranking, Muriel has a selection of spells that can be purchased for prayer books, and he's willing to share lore of the region to the player. Even if he is attacked for whatever reason, he will not retaliate, even at the cost of his own life. For these reasons, he more than deserves the first place in the good section. Next up, we have to give the silver medal of goodness to Iron Fist Alexander. This living pod is first found in the Stormhill region, informing the player he is stuck in a hole. And it isn't the only hole he gets himself stuck into throughout the game. After he's freed, however, he informs the player of his desire of becoming a great warrior, in addition to giving them compensation for their help. Brave, cheerful, and a little boastful, Alexander is a great guy. He's also a very helpful ally in the player's fight against Radahn, as well as a fire giant, even if he might get damaged during the fight. He is strong in his conviction of becoming a great warrior jar, and shows no fear when it comes to tough opponents. What puts him slightly below Muriel is his somewhat carelessness in getting stuck in holes. But this is a very minor issue, and he more than makes up for this with his helpful actions. The Bronze Medal of Good is awarded to Millicent. She's proof that despite what you are born, what matters is what you grow to be. She is leaps and bounds more compassionate than her mother, as well as her own sisters. Unfortunately, she, like so many others in the wasteland region that is Caelid, is affected by the scarlet rot disease. She was found in the swamp of Aeonia as a baby, and was raised by Gowry, along with her sisters. Sadly, due to the scarlet rot disease, her memory has been greatly affected. Once the player is able to give her the unalloyed gold needle, she's able to help out on her side quest. In addition to helping the player out, Millicent's desire is solely to cure her mother of the very virus that is running throughout the area. She's also willing to help out the player in the fight against her sisters. Unfortunately, at the end of the story, she removes the golden needle, choosing to die, rather than spread the scarlet rot. Her story is a tragic one, and she has very little to go against her, but since she requires both the gold needle and the prosthesis in order to help, she gets placed here. Our fourth place spot goes to Nephili Lou. This warrior woman is a fellow Tarnished who, as she is supposedly Godfrey's descendant, has a legit claim to the Limgrave throne, more or less. Like Millicent, she is another character that was taken in as a young child. Even though her foster father learns about the world more behind the scenes, Nephili takes a first-hand approach. Seeing what a monster the demigod Godric was, she is determined to put his reign to an end. As a warrior, she can be summoned to help the player in their fight against Godric. After helping the player kill Godric, she can later be found lamenting slaughtered villagers and vows to deliver justice to other oppressors. After finding out that her foster father orchestrated the extermination of her childhood village, she is disowned and leaves the Round Table. Thankfully though, she is later offered the throne of Limgrave, and she accepts, with her desire to help the oppressed and wish to erase Godric's influence as strong as ever. We can definitely sympathize with her, and helping her out just feels right. But with her first goal to kill someone, albeit someone as twisted as Godric, we bumped her down a couple places. Second to last in our good category is Smithing Master Hugh. When the player first encounters him, he comes across as a slightly grumpy blacksmith. As a misbegotten, tragic Tragically, he is a slave, with his sole purpose in crafting a weapon by Merika that could kill a god. It is unknown why he remains loyal to Merika, except for possible fear, which one could hardly fault him for. In addition to working for her, he is willing to upgrade weapons and items the player brings to him. He also mentors his foster daughter with her spirit tuning, never losing faith in her abilities, showing he is willing to help others despite his current predicament. Like so many, he is a tragic character, but honestly he is a good guy at heart. The only drawbacks to him are the uncertainty as to why he is loyal to Merika and his grumpy demeanor. And finally, we round out the good section with the fan favorite, half man, half wolf, Blide. Despite his somewhat intimidating appearance, Blide is a good guy who cares deeply for Ranni and is a great warrior. As he was created by the two fingers of Ranni, he's unable to move against her, but it also created a failsafe, that if Ranni moves against her own destiny, Blide would eventually succumb to madness. That said, he is more than willing to help the player out in a couple of fights, and shows zero negative traits prior to losing his sanity. Unfortunately, when he is encountered later in the game at Ranni's tower, he has descended into madness, killing multiple Black Knife assassins, who were there to kill Ranni. When the player approaches him, sadly, Blide does not recognize them and attacks and is killed in the fight. With the good characters wrapped up, we now move into neutral territory. This is the gray area. Our first entry in the gray area goes to the character the player controls, the Tarnished. Honestly, as the character is an extension of the player themselves, the Tarnished is pretty difficult to place, with classes such as Warrior, Astrologer, Prisoner, and Vagabond, each with their own unique traits. The character is truly a player-customized character. True, the main storyline has the player trying to collect pieces of the Elden Ring from the corrupted demigods in order to repair it, and they also have loads of side quests that not only help advance their character, they're helping tons of people affected by the Shattering. But they are capable of killing anyone they encounter, and at least one of the endings of the game, depending on the player's actions, results in the lands between being destroyed. Since the character can go either way on the good to evil spectrum, they get placed here at the top of the gray area. Following the Tarnished is a character whose quest is one of the most expansive in the game, and another fan favorite, Lunar Princess Ranni. Being the daughter of Radagon and Rennala, she was born an Empyrean, meaning she has the potential of being the successor of Merika. Not wanting to be a puppet for her Empyrean role, however, she plots the events known as the Night of Black Knives. This had both her body killed, while she had her stepbrother Godwin killed in spirit. This event led to Merika shattering the Elden Ring, setting up the events of the game. Even though her body was killed, her spirit was transferred into a doll. Unlike other demigods encountered, Ranni has no interest in claiming the shattered pieces of the Elden Ring and ruling. Like others in the game, she is willing to assist the player, her specialty on teaching the basics of spirit summoning. While she does help the Tarnished, she definitely has her own agenda. More specifically, she wants to usher in the age of the Dark Moon, meaning all demigods' influence would be removed from the lands between. Her goal is a noble one, we have to give her that, but with her goal getting both herself and her brother killed, as well as her actions being the catalyst of Marika destroying the ring and creating the state the players find themselves in, it is kind of a stretch to see if the means justify the odds. She is no means a bad person, but for her actions, we have to place her in the gray area. Rounding out our gray area is the Omen King, Margaret. Huge and unmoving in his beliefs, Margaret is honorable but a very flawed individual. Like Ranni, he is a demigod but has no interest in ruling for selfish reasons. He's found at the Lindell capital, where he is guarding over the Erd Tree. Despite being looked down on by most, he never wavers in his goal, which, in addition to protecting Erd Tree, is to make sure nobody claims the title of Elden Lord. While this is a noble goal where less than wholesome characters are concerned, it is short-sighted. If the player who is worthy of becoming the Elden Lord is prevented from claiming the title, it can lead to widespread catastrophic damages. While we can see where Margaret is coming from with him not wanting the title of Elden Ring to be taken, his actions to prevent it could potentially destroy the world, so he gets placed at the bottom of this section. With the gray area complete, we now get to the dark side. These characters are the bad and the evil. Starting off this category, the first spot goes to Radahn. As far as other demigods, Radahn would be ranked with Ranni and Margaret, as he is a pretty nice guy by Elden Ring standards. Growing up admiring Godfrey, Radahn was inspired to become a great warrior like him. He had a strong sense of honor and pride, as well as greatly valuing his comrades and inspired confidence within them. All this changed, however, during his fight with his half-sister, when, during the battle, he contracts the scarlet rot from her. Because of the infection, he is reduced to a mindless behemoth who wanders around the area devouring corpses and killing loads of people. And that is pretty bad. But as he is under the influence of the rot, he is not entirely at fault. That said, even before becoming infected, he, like most of the other demigods, has a piece of the Elden Ring. This suggests that he was at least interested in ruling the lands between. Knowing that he was prior to being reduced to a feral monster though, we are optimistic in thinking his intentions would at least be somewhat noble. Look under the dictionary for the term nightmare fuel, and there is a good chance our next entry's picture would be there. Say hello to Pryder Reichard. Also known as the God-devouring serpent, you can probably guess why he is lower on our list. After the events of the Night of Black Knives that Ronnie orchestrated, Reichard fled to the Volcano Manor. Initially, he was content with just his piece of the ring, and unlike his other demigod siblings, did not seek the others. Eventually, he did collect a certain number of followers, drawn by his belief of trying to also overthrow the Erd Tree. Their tune was changed though after Reichard's sanity slowly corroded, to the point of allowing himself to be eaten and fusing with the God-devouring serpent. After becoming the horrifying hybrid, Reichard's goals became nothing more than killing his followers and mass cannibalism, simply to help extend his own life, and wishing to eventually devour the gods themselves. Luckily, a number of his followers who were not killed and eaten managed to create a weapon the player can use to put an end to this monster. Really, very little good can be said about this guy. The one thing we can give him is that he did not seek the other pieces of the Elden Ring, but seeing what he became and how he treats his own followers and his twisted goals, there is no way he gets a higher ranking than this. Taking the bronze medal of evil is Godric the Grafted. It was really hard to decide who deserved this spot between Godric and Reichard. Both are demigods with inhumane crimes to their names. But while Reichard's power was kind of confined to Volcano Manor, Godric has brought death and destruction on a much wider scale. Before the shattering even happened, Godric was viewed as the weakest of the demigods. At one point, he fought with Malenia, but was quickly beaten, though he was able to retreat back to Stormvale Castle. Not wanting to be considered weak any further, Godric decided to, well, graft pieces of any creature or person he came across to his body. We told you this guy had some really awful actions to his name. No one was safe from Godric, including both a troll and a dragon, in addition to several Tarnished. It's no mystery why Nephili wants to end this guy. He has murdered countless individuals, solely for his own benefit of becoming stronger. While Godric thinks he is Godfrey's rightful successor, he has absolutely zero of the somewhat redeeming qualities that Godfrey possesses. Barbaric and insane, Godric is a true monster, and working with Nephili to end his reign of terror is one of the most satisfying moments in the entire game. A perfect case of bait-and-switch character. We're awarding our Silver Medal of Evil to Malenia the Severed. When Malenia was first introduced in the gameplay trailers, we can see why a lot of people might think that she would be a heroic character, but that is just not the case at all. Also known as the Goddess of Rot, she is directly responsible for spreading the Scarlet Rot virus that has affected so many, and she does not seem to care about the level of damage that the rot has caused. The only thing that protects the world from being infected by the Scarlet virus is the stone wall surrounding Caelid. After her fight against Radahn, Malenia falls into a coma, still having the virus spread from her and infecting the land around her. When the player finds her for the boss fight, she releases another wave of Scarlet Rot before succumbing to her injuries. While previous entries have committed murder and worse, it can be argued that being left in the state those who are affected by the virus is worse. Knowing the potential damage that could come to literally everyone if the rot was not confined, and her callous attitude to those who oppose her, she definitely earns the Silver Medal of Evil. And finishing off our list of Elden Ring characters is the character who kicked off the events of the game. Merika the Eternal more than deserves the Gold Medal of Evil. With her actions, such as mass murder, manipulating entire kingdoms to her goals, and waging war against races and other countless crimes, it should come as no surprise. As an Empyrean, she is the mother of most of the demigods, and we're not saying that her actions influenced her children's actions, but with her breaking the Elden Ring at the start of the game, and almost all who got a piece becoming corrupted, we gotta question her methods. And there is no way that her marginally good intentions are not overshadowed by all the harm that she's caused. While most of her actions are purely hands-off, her influence throughout the game is obvious almost from the word go. Her actions are why the world is what the player finds themselves in, and apart from backing the player, she makes no attempts to repair what has been done. While it is up to what choices the player makes during the game, if they get Ranni succeeding Merika and removing both her and the other demigods' influence, it is one of the most satisfying feelings in recent RPG games. And that's it for the Elden Ring morality spectrum. Now let's wrap things up by handing out our sinner medals. The Sloth medal is awarded to Muriel, Pastor of Vows. The guy is a literal turtle, so case made. The Gluttony medal goes to Reichard. He willingly eats both demigods and his followers alike, just for his own desires. We have to give the Envy medal to Godric. He wanted to be stronger than his siblings and resulted in stealing parts of others to improve his strength. Godric also takes the Greed medal. The dude hoards so many parts of others that it's terrifying. The Pride medal recipient is Iron Fist Alexander. While he is a great ally, as a living jar, we gotta question his conviction on becoming a great warrior. The Darwin medal goes to Margaret. As he's guarding the Erd Tree and not allowing anyone to become Elden Lord, his actions could lead to the end of the world. And finally, the Wrath medal goes to Godfrey. A great and respectful warrior he may be, he is still bloodlusty when it comes to battle. And that's it. Let us know in the comments section if you agree with our ranking, and be sure to tell us what we should cover next. And if you need a one-up, make sure to hit that notification bell and binge our Good to Evil playlist, where we break down the morality of the characters in your favorite games. Thanks for watching, see you next time.